All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about why hitting the trails on a mountain bike feels, well, just so good. It's way more than just a workout, and we're going to dig into the actual science that explains that amazing post-ride exhale feeling. Seriously, have you ever finished a ride, you're caked in mud, totally exhausted, but somehow you feel calmer and your head is clearer than it's been all day? Yeah, there's a reason for that, and believe me, it goes way beyond just burning off some calories. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Now, therapy isn't being used in a clinical sense here, of course, but it perfectly captures a feeling that a whole lot of new research is starting to explain. So, what's actually happening in our brains when we ditch the pavement for some single track? Okay, to really get this, we've got to look at a couple of key scientific theories that help explain our deep connection to the natural world. This isn't just about enjoying a nice view, it's about how our brains are fundamentally wired. It all kind of starts with this foundational idea called the biophilia hypothesis. The gist is that we humans have this deep, biological, almost instinctual need to connect with nature. It's an ancient wiring that's still a huge part of us, even in our crazy, modern, screen-filled lives. Building on top of that, you've got the attention restoration theory. Think of your ability to focus like your phone battery. The constant pings, emails, and demands of city life, they just drain that battery down to zero. Well, natural environments, with their gentle, fascinating sights and sounds, let that battery recharge. And then there's stress reduction theory. This one's all about what's happening inside your body, physiologically. It suggests that just being in nature actively lowers our physical stress markers. It literally helps trigger our body's calming systems, bringing down our heart rate, blood pressure, and those pesky stress hormones. You can really see the difference here. On one side, you have the city. It's full of loud, abrupt things that demand our direct attention, and it is just draining. But then you look at a natural setting. It engages us with what scientists call soft fascination, like watching leaves rustle or water flow. This allows our minds to wander and, recover. So, with those theories as our backdrop, a huge scientific review pulled together a decade of research on this stuff. Let's break down the 5 key benefits they found and see how they map perfectly onto a good day on the mountain bike. All right, number 1, improved mood and reduced stress. This is that classic post-ride exhale we're talking about. The research is clear. Being out in nature can seriously cut down on feelings of stress, anxiety, and just, overthinking things. When you finish your ride and feel emotionally reset, that's not just in your head. It lines up perfectly with the science. Second is focus, and this is where riding gets really interesting. A trail demands a very specific kind of attention, doesn't it? You're constantly scanning ahead, picking your line, reacting to roots and rocks. You absolutely have to be in the moment. This intense, in-the-moment focus, combined with that restorative, natural setting, can leave you feeling mentally refreshed, not just physically tired. Okay, this one's huge, and I feel like it often gets overlooked. Better sleep. The review found a solid link between being in nature and getting higher quality sleep. And for a rider, it just makes total sense, right? You're getting daylight exposure to help set your body clock, you're getting serious physical exercise, and your stress levels are dropping. That is a powerhouse recipe for a great night's sleep. Number 4 is heart health. Mountain biking is kind of like a 2-for-1 deal here. You're obviously getting the fantastic cardiovascular benefits from the exercise itself, but being in that natural setting adds this whole other layer of benefit. The stress-reducing effects of just being in the forest also directly support your heart health. And to get really specific, the research points to solid evidence that time spent in natural environments, especially forests, is directly associated with reduced blood pressure. The key takeaway here is that where you exercise can actually make a big difference for your heart. And finally, number 5, community. The research points out that green spaces are amazing for encouraging social connection. I mean, if you've ever finished a group ride feeling way happier than when you started, it's not just the endorphins. That shared experience, tackling a tough climb or a fun descent together, that's a seriously powerful ingredient for feeling good. So, knowing all this cool science, how can we actually be more intentional about getting these benefits? Let's look at a few simple, practical tips to boost the power of your ride. Look, the approach here is really simple. When you can, opt for the greener, more natural routes. And hey, remember, it's not always a race. Slow down sometimes to actually notice your surroundings. Even just a 2-minute micropause at a scenic overlook can do wonders. Try to make it social now and then. Tap into that group ride effect. And finally, consistency is key. A few shorter rides a week often builds more long-term benefit than one epic once-a-month sufferfest. So let's bring this all home. I think it's pretty clear by now that when we talk about mountain biking, we're really talking about something so much richer than just cranking out some miles. And this, right here, is the core message. It's not just exercise with a pretty background. It's this dynamic, powerful interaction between your body, your mind, and a restorative environment. The trail itself is an active ingredient in the whole experience. And just to recap, that powerful interaction is linked to real, measurable benefits across your entire well-being. We're talking less stress and a better mood, sharper focus, higher quality sleep, a healthier heart, and a stronger sense of community. The next time you grab your helmet and head for the trailhead, just remember, it's so much more than just a ride. It's a chance to de-stress, to recharge your brain, and to reconnect. So the only question left is, what will you get out of your next ride?